There we go. Hello, friends that aren't here yet. That's cool because, as I was just telling Aaron, I just need to go off. I started watching this like an hour ago, and I didn't get a chance to finish it, but you know, it got me so like I have to get it out of my system. So, if nobody sees this, that's okay. It needs to exit my body. So, keep in mind, I have not done this before. So, you're probably going to have to deal with me trying to figure out the technology with sharing my screen and all that nonsense. I mean, I did figure out how to share my screen, but there might be some hiccups in there. So, sorry about that. So this video is called The Alt-Right in Tabletop Games, and a person named John Battle uploaded it. I never heard of him, but he seems to be prominent. And it rustled my jimmies, and I need to talk about it. So I'm gonna share my screen so that you can view this with me. I didn't get a chance to finish it because it's very long, but I'm going to watch the whole thing and I'll stop it to say what needs to be said. We're going to start at the beginning, the very beginning. Da, 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 da. Go. Oh no, there's no sound.
Okay.
Changed the desk arrangement into something
all by myself. I'm just playing. Okay, thank you. Love you. Oh wait, no, wrong way. Okay. All right. Starting over. You didn't see anything. You saw nothing. This is where it begins. Okay. So we're going to start this video. This is let's just I'm tired of talking. Let's just do it.
In the open halls of Cumberley
can be
High
heard
School,
well.
Ron Jones, a charismatic history teacher, taught his students about Nazi Germany. During his lecture, one student asked him how the people of Germany let such a movement like the Nazi Party take hold in the first place. Jones was unable to explain it using words, and instead devised something a bit more interesting.
All right, I have to pause here. So like I said, I did watch some of this video. I haven't seen the whole thing, but he goes off for a really, 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 really long time about this social experiment that a teacher did on his, I'm assuming, high school students, to basically like experiment with how the Nazis became the way that they were. Basically making the point that human beings are gullible, they're easily tricked, they're easily molded to believe certain things. All, cool, good. It just goes on for a really long time. So I'm gonna just skip ahead a little bit. I mean, you can go and see that part of the video for yourself if you're really interested. I know he goes on to say that the teacher gets like a power trip off of it, and like later in life came back to talk about it again and say how the power sort of went to his head. Yada yada, all cool stuff.
All
cool.
students. He gave 3 of them red X's on their cards. These were to be informants who would report any misconduct directly to Jones. By the end of the day, 20 different students had reported on their fellow classmates. They then held several trials during the day. Failure to accomplish
all this happened over a period of this didn't just happen overnight at this school. This happened over quite a while, I gather. Just kind of a slow induction into this new system. He taught them different ways to be very, very strict with themselves, very orderly, very quick, very efficient. And now it looks like new power levels.
Which the trials
it
would
just
lead
goes
to
on.
banishment to the library.
We're gonna skip
Banished
ahead.
Students.
Okay.
Things that
hang on. This is about
riding through the streets of Germany, surrounded by not only his fervent supporters, but the German people and the Hitler youth. This was Jones's attempt at painting a picture of a people under fascism. It wasn't meant to go as far as it did, but even that helped illustrate things to Jones himself. The point of this weird experiment was that the average citizen wasn't stupid for falling for the Nazi Party. Confused, scared, they can be fed propaganda. They can be fed lies. They can believe things that after the fact make them feel silly or moronic for falling for in the first place. More importantly, though, the point was that it could happen to anyone.
I tweeted about this. I got so mad that he used this beautiful theme from Final Fantasy X. It, it. Do not interact with the persons mentioned in this video. I appreciate the fact that they state that this is not an invitation to harass and target, but do not interact. Do not have a conversation. And there was a comment I'm going to share later. I don't want to interrupt. I don't want to like take it off the video because of my, boomer ass. I don't want to fuck it up when we've got it going right. But he made a comment on his own video in which part of that comment said that there was a thing said one time where someone said that if you've got a table with one Nazi sitting at it and the other people are talking to that Nazi, you then have a table of 11 Nazis. If that's what makes somebody a Nazi, then the term really, truly has been watered down to the point of meaninglessness, to the point that everybody's a fucking Nazi, especially since, well, we'll get there, but especially since he goes on to say that there's a good chance you don't even know you're a Nazi. So we're gonna be educated.
I want to tell you about a single occurrence that happened on Reddit. Something that, from the outside, seems like nothing. Someone posting a character sheet they illustrated and linking the game in the comments. This happened on the OSR subreddit dedicated to talking about all the latest in the old school renaissance, a tabletop gaming movement that grew in popularity in the early 2010s with many offshoots since. Here are some games from the modern OSR. In the sidebar, you can see all posts advertising a game should be tagged as such. The character sheet poster didn't do that. This happens all the time, and it's easily corrected. A moderator leaves a comment telling them to properly tag their post, or takes it down and messages them privately, letting them know the rule, informing them they can then re-upload the post if they do it correctly. Before that can happen, someone comments telling the OP,
here we go, already. Let's go.
Original poster, that they are breaking the rules. Then this happens. To most viewers, one appears hostile. Okay.
I need to pause to take a better look at this. I've seen it. I saw it on the actual Reddit page, but let's take a look here. So Taylor Lane said, pretty sure this is a violation of Rule 1 of the subreddit. And Lucas Rolim followed that up with Taylor Lane strikes again. And I could be wrong because I only looked at this video for a little while before deciding to sit down and make this stream. And I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that our friend here tries to frame this as if Taylor's the one coming off as hostile. Now, let's just keep going. We'll get into it. I keep trying to get ahead of myself.
The other, civil, a typical rules follower. But something else you may notice is the apparent history here. A context missing from this interaction. The OP knows the commenter. The commenter says they don't know the OP. These things also happen all the time. People bring personal beefs into public spaces and things get blown way out of proportion. Fights happen.
You hear that? Things get blown out of proportion. Just weird.
Most, you could assume the context is unimportant. Two people's personal issues aren't your problem. Again, though, the commenter doesn't know the OP, so let's play a little game. Why such hostility? Come on, don't act like you're above getting angry. What would make you this angry? Which of these options, if I presented them to you, would you think it was that would make them this angry? A, one catfished the other in some online money scheme. B, one killed the other's father and now they must die. Or C, the OP was just having a bad day.
Oh, God. I'm scared.
The answer is D. The commenter is part of the alt-right.
You can't do that. This was multiple choice and I still lost. Can't just throw in another choice. Yes, please do.
If you're the kind to stop me right now and talk definitions, plenty of people smarter than me have defined things like neo-Nazi and alt-right. I'm going to point you to a video series that was very illuminating. We are using Ian's definition of the alt-right in conjunction with Stephanie Baudelaire's article, Nazis Not Welcome. Within, Stephanie states,
So I have to pause right here and say that I'm not the most educated when it comes to what actually is the definition of an alt-right, a neo-Nazi. I have a very fringe understanding of what these labels mean. Very basic, and I'm probably wrong about some of them. That being said, it does seem like it's going to be pretty relevant to his video, at least from what I've seen so far. So I'm definitely like open to learning what this stuff is. I might actually even go to the things that he was mentioning there to learn about it because I am interested. But as of this moment right now, I don't know. I just feel like I need to throw in that disclaimer.
if it looks like a duck, swims like a duck, and quacks like a duck, then it probably is a duck. Nazis believe in Nazi ideas. People who aren't Nazis don't believe in Nazi ideas. You don't have to believe every idea that every Nazi ever believed in order to be a Nazi. You just have to believe one. If this upsets you, I'm going to take it the best I can, assuming you're unsure if you have Nazi or alt-right beliefs and you want to find out if you do, which, sure, whatever. If that's the case, I'll point you to Philosophy Tube's video, The Philosophy of Antifa. It does twice the legwork by not only defining fascism for you, but also why we must fight it, how we fight it, and what not fighting it can lead to. That's already a lot of things to watch or read. If you're not skipping over them or this video, my hope is that you are looking for education. And you should. I'm talking about a very specific field, so a broad understanding helps. I also know many people are generally not in the loop when it comes to the tabletop role-playing game scene, or they're young and haven't had to learn these things yet. So this is my attempt to do my part in educating those new in the scene. That brings us to our first question. How is this simple Reddit conversation spurred by the alt-right? First of all,
I'm curious,
Lucas Rollum,
yes.
the poster of the character sheet and game in the comments, is from Brazil. He's known for being very supportive of the Bro SR, the Brazilian old school Renaissance, and generally not what anyone would consider a shit stirrer. The commenter is Taylor Lane, who after being banned from
200% mad. Sorry, I'm pulling this up to look at the live chat because I don't want to mess up what I've got going on here. Yeah, sorry, chat. I'm glad that you're here. Thank you for being here with me. I will do the best that I can. Let's look at some of these screen caps. God, like some of these screen caps, it's like not even like it's like he's trying to throw shade at Taylor Lane, but what I see is people being kind of dicks to them. Am I wrong? I mean, this one right here, Blark just says, Taylor Lane tried to follow me, but I had no interest in seeing tepid D&D tweets written like a newly divorced grognard uncle. I guess maybe that's insulting what Taylor Lane retweets. Let's see. This tweet says, this was about and remains to be about Taylor Lane / Forest Step. I usually don't publicly shit talk accounts on main or honestly even private, but they've always been a cash obsessed vulture determined to make money at the expense of everyone around them. Okay, so this is like the level that we're dealing with. I'm trying to remain like fairly neutral at this point. But I know what's coming.
Welcome to high
So,
school or junior high.
Right. I don't know if y'all heard that. Aaron said, welcome to junior high. I mean, a little bit. I mean, it's already a little bit concerning to me. Maybe I'm just the fucking outlier here. It's already a little weird to me that all these screen caps were readily available or that someone would go to the effort to do this. I mean, if you're trying to make an educational video about what exactly the alt-right is, that's one thing. If you're trying to make a video about alt-right people in tabletop RPGs, that's another thing. But this is something in between where it's like, it just kind of feels like you're trying to call the one side bad, you know? Anyway, let's move on.
Several discords for breaking rules, being widely blocked for being an instigator, and brigading other accounts while also turning and saying they were the ones being brigaded, immediately befriended Urbanski, which is kind of
Did
a
he?
whole can of worms
Oh, shit.
on its own. These
Fuck. I'm live. I can't just take that out. Okay, well, obviously I'm going to delete this and, like, re-edit it because what the fuck? Fucking asshole. You don't just... So, okay, I went into this trying to be neutral as I could be, but that's a dick move.
things I learned just with a Google search. You'll also find his
Oh,
YouTube
God,
channel.
that's another thing. They always want to go off about, I found this with just a Google search. You know what? I tried to do a Google search before my stream that I did with RPG Pundit and Taylor Lane. I had people tweeting at me, just do a Google search and it's so easy to find all this bad stuff. All right, now, admittedly, I did not go past typing one thing into Google and clicking the first thing that came up. When I typed into Google, RPG Pundit bad, I didn't get any of the shit that these people constantly throw at me with screenshots and stuff. So, you know, just saying.
Blog he's kept since 2013, and way back at the beginning you'll see what kind of appears like a normal OSR blog with posts
It
like
appears to be a normal OSR blog. It appears that way. What is it really? What is the underlying evil here?
The Day of the Doctor, consisting of pictures of some old Doctor Who actors, or Uncracked Monday, the greatest feminist thinker, where Urbanski calls Camille Paglia the best modern day feminist. Camille said that she is highly skeptical of the current transgender wave, saying it's far more complicated than current gender discourse allows. But don't worry, she elaborated with, in a democracy, everyone, no matter how nonconformist or eccentric, should be free from harassment and abuse.
Yes.
But at the same time, no one deserves special rights, protections, or privileges on the basis of their eccentricity. She also denies global warming and endorses pedophilia. So, yeah, that's
Ew.
her.
Let's not. Whoa. Okay, pause. Some other choice blog posts I found by searching feminism on Urbanski's blog. Let's see. There's two of the same screen cap twice. Do you see that? Right here and right here. Let's see. It's titled Campus Pseudo-Activism Frauds and the Fall of Civilization. And he says, I watched today an episode of Vikings, an excellent show overall, though not without its problems. For example, that its writers can somehow go into meticulous and careful attention too. And that screenshot's on there twice. Okay, that tells me a lot. Thanks for that. Let's see. Why the RPG Pundit and D&D have probably done more for real diversity and inclusion in the hobby than the pseudo-activist show Trial Squad. Classic rant, why feminist articles about gamers not being inclusive are bunk. They are bunk. That's incorrect. Yeah, okay. Getting nothing from these screenshots. I'm trying not to be mean. It feels just a little bit like some screenshots. Like this exact, look at this. This exact screenshot is put on here twice, right next to each other. It says actually nothing. And it's like, I guess maybe he thought nobody's gonna pause and read what's on the screen. I don't know. Okay. All
Or
right.
there's this post, a love letter to 2016,
Oh,
where
this one.
Tarnowski writes, a lot of people have been really down on 2016. Whiners, mostly. You
Oh,
can tell if
God.
someone, let's face it, almost certainly a millennial, has never actually had any
Pundit called me out over here for being a millennial.
true hardship ever in their lives if they claim that 2016 was the worst year ever because some old or drugged out celebrities died and people they didn't like won elections. The worst year of my Polish grandfather's life was unquestionably 1939. There's nothing I've ever experienced in my life so far that would even come close.
Okay. So the thing about that, I've said it before, it's not a secret. Pundit knows it. There's plenty he has said and done that I don't agree with. And this is a pretty good example as far as like the 2016 being the worst year ever. I remember when that was a meme. It was a whole ass meme that 2016 was the worst year that has ever yeared. That's of course because it came before 2020. But yeah, it was a whole ass meme, and he's not wrong that a lot of people who have never really experienced truly like terrible things whine about things that are objectively not that important. Look at me sitting here whining about this video. Perfect example. No, but here's the thing. I do think it's kind of bullshit to say these people whining about 2016, you know, they didn't have to go through what my Polish grandfather went through. And no matter what the scale is, I don't think it's cool to judge like hardship Olympics. You know what I mean? Somebody going through something terrible doesn't negate you having a struggle also, you know, even if the struggles aren't equal. Like I can sit here and say, you know, I had a really bad day today, you know, and somebody could come up to me and be like, well, at least you're not fucking homeless. I mean, yeah, that's true. Doesn't negate the fact that, you know, everybody has their own personal struggles, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I mean, I know he's fixing to go off about how Pundit said that, you know, his Polish grandfather had it worse. And yeah, probably. But like I lost where I was going with that. I completely. Were you going to say something? It looks like you were going to say something.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that. Yeah, just you know, pissing on other people, being about like, you know, I went through a hard time or whatever is you know, that's sucky. But like here, it's like what actually happened in 2016. It's like, okay, yeah, somebody won you didn't like, and yeah, some celebrities died, and I mean, their lives didn't change in any meaningful way for the most part.
Well,
there were some that did, but
the point really that I was getting at is that yeah, Pundit and I disagree all the time, and I tell him when I disagree with. I'm telling you right now, if you're watching, that was kind of a weird thing to say there. Anyway,
I
kind of agree with him on that. That's like, it's small potatoes, really, especially in 20, like after 2020, they have to be feeling really silly to be like, oh, 2016 was so bad.
I'm pretty sure this was written before 2020. I think he dug to get this, where Pundit said the thing about people complaining. Yeah, so I mean, this was written well before 2020 happened.
Yeah, I know that. I'm saying that those people that said that back then must feel silly now.
Oh yeah, but you know, we all grow and change and mature, you know. And Pundit said in that clipped thing that, you know, oh, it's young people, millennials bitching about this. I mean, that's what's going on in your world. There are kids right now in like middle school who are going through it, struggling in ways that I didn't struggle, while I struggled in ways that they won't struggle.
You who may not be deep in the trenches of this stuff, this post should be the fingers snapping in your face.
Snap in your face. That's the thing. That's the, you know what? I've seen worse things that Pundit has said, but this is the, that's,
Calls millennials entitled because we didn't like an actual fascist being elected president of our United States, that I have to add, he doesn't live in. He lives in Uruguay, then uses his Polish grandfather.
He doesn't live here, therefore he's not allowed to have an opinion. By the way, men, you're not allowed to have opinions on women's rights either. Opinions. You're not allowed. Fuck off.
I mean, he'd probably agree with this guy that's talking. He'd probably agree with you about men not having an opinion.
That's my point. That's a stupid fucking... I'm not going to go off on this because we're going to get derailed. But if you're one of those people who says, you are a man, therefore you have no right to an opinion on women's issues, we're never going to agree. Do I think you should be the one making the rules for it? Not necessarily. But every human being has a right to an opinion on every subject ever. End of.
Like, he's just saying, shut up, people have it worse than you. He does all of this because he supports Trump. He buries the lead a bit, but later on, when he's listing how good 2016 was for him, he says, and I quote, politically, it's been pretty well a home run. Brexit, Donald Trump, the gradual unraveling of the EU, that again he doesn't live in, and the leaders who have most contributed to the dismantling of Western civilization, either losing power or losing favor one by one. It's rocked. And a side note to you liberals, it's going to keep happening. Do I need to explain this? The degradation of the Western civilization is up there on the Family Feud board of things white supremacists say right under the Great Replacement. It's alt-right rhetoric, and it's bled in. Someone knowledgeable about these things would look at this and go, huh, this person is at best parroting alt-right talk points.
Okay. So I have to pause here. Again, I know little to nothing about what defines the alt-right, or I know what a white supremacist is, but you know, he's going about this saying, so to say these things is like showing mask off that you're a white supremacist, whatever. Okay. I've probably said a lot of dumb shit in my life. That doesn't make me a Nazi, you know? Not that, okay, let's just go on. I can't with this man.
Best
like,
avoid.
It's like, I'm going to take what you said and I'm going to say, this is what it means. Facts. Is that weird? Am I weird? Yeah, that's kind of like the meat and potatoes of the whole reason I wanted to talk about this video anyway, because there's so many examples of this that I saw in the short. Like, we're not quite to where I stopped watching yet, but there's just a lot of examples of you said thing, therefore you believe all these things of this ideology. This is hard proof facts. And I don't buy it. I'm never going to ascribe to that because that's ridiculous. People are so quick to throw everybody into a hive, into a, you know, oh, you said this thing, therefore you are also I don't know.
Yeah, well, the thing is they don't take the time to actually invite them to actually discuss what it is they actually believe.
You can't, because if you talk to a Nazi, if you engage in conversation with a Nazi, you are Nazi. That's how we started this video.
You know?
Yeah, I've said a lot of things, especially when I'm, yeah, like you guys have seen, when I'm on stream with Aaron and he shows me something that makes me react. I say stuff that I don't really ascribe to or mean. Like, you know, and if I feel like I need to, I'll say, you know, midstream, I'll be like, listen, I'm not really that mad. I just got heated, you know. That's being a human, dude. Not saying that that's what's happening with Pundit, though. I want to clarify. I don't know.
Yeah.
But because he does say a lot of very, like, brash, provocative things, like very, like, stir the pot kind of things. And that's, you know, that's what he does. That's whatever. But anyway, so, oh, where did it go? I keep losing it. Okay, so Jim Hoor also said, if it walks like an ordinary blog and talks like an ordinary blog, by the neo-Nazi logic, isn't it an ordinary blog? Oh, Jim Hoor, again, sorry, I don't know if it's she. They beat me to it because I was literally about to say a variation of this exact same thing because this dude said in his comment on his own video that if you believe one ideal that a Nazi believes, you are a Nazi, period, which is insane. But you know what? You know what I believe? I believe that breathing is nice. So, and I'm a Nazi according to this guy, so, you know? Actually, I don't know if I'm a Nazi according to this guy. I don't know enough about Nazi ideals. I don't know about every single one, so fuck, I don't know. But you know what? I've probably talked to someone in my life who's held a Nazi ideal, so nobody here is free from sin. We are all Nazi. Let's move on.
But some kid who's just looking for a blog post to read before their weekly D&D game, this is the post I look at to understand Urbanski.
So wait. Some kid, so he's saying some kid's gonna be trying to get to like a blog about D&D or whatever, and they're gonna see this. This has the same cursed energy as people who are like, some kid is gonna see, this is going to age me. Some kid is gonna see Britney Spears up there dancing like a slut with a snake around her neck, and when they're just trying to listen to good wholesome music. What? Like, dude, you know what? That's not even a good comparison because this is Pundit's blog. This is his space. This is his thing. This is, he can write whatever the hell he wants. That's like somebody saying, they came to my YouTube channel, trying to find, trying to find makeup tutorials. And they accidentally ran into me doing whatever the fuck it is I'm doing on this channel. The nerve.
The left has behaved utterly despicably this year, doubling down on being more smarmy, more deceptive, more totalitarian, and more pro-censorship than ever.
Is he wrong?
No, okay. Okay. I don't know what year this was written, but I do know that over the years, the left, I use quotes because I don't know what defines the left. I'm not politically savvy enough. I know what the stereotype of the left is, but saying they gotten more totalitarian and more pro-censorship, yeah, they have, and it fucking sucks. And I consider myself, as of now, with my limited knowledge, I consider myself to be left-leaning. So, I hate that. That sucks.
He's parroting what I'll call the alt-right clothesline.
Parroting.
I don't know if there's an actual word for it.
Couldn't have
but in my
his
mind,
own.
the alt-right clothesline goes as follows. 1, a person believes and says right-wing ideas out loud. 2, leftists.
Have you guys seen that thing where it's like that 1930s ass looking black and white video footage where it's like if the person frequently reads and parrots communist ideals,
yeah.
they may be a communist.
McCarthyism. Yeah.
You can't even talk. This is the thing. You can't even fucking talk. The censorship has gotten fucking out of control. You can't talk about anything. You can't learn about it. Okay, you can learn from the approved things, but if you're going out on your own as a citizen of free will with your own mind, and you go out to have conversations with real people to learn about things, that's not cool. That's not okay. That makes you a fucking Nazi. You have to learn from the approved things, the YouTube videos this guy has linked to you, because anything... I'm going off. Let's keep going.
Push back on those ideas, even in small ways. 3, the person claims the pushback as the reason they are now going right-wing. The idea being...
What is that argument even?
What is...
That didn't even seem relevant to anything. It didn't even seem like it's related to what he was trying to say.
Did we miss something? Let me go. I'm just going to go back a tad.
I don't think so.
Because I'm a little confused.
2, leftists push back on those ideas.
Okay, I promise this is the last time I'm going to pause before we get past this, but I like how bullet point 1 is say right-wing ideas out loud. So if I were to sit in public with you and I say, the right wing believes this, I am now complicit in this evil.
Even in small ways. 3,
I know,
the
but I'm
person
just
claims
saying
the
the way it's
pushback
phrased.
as the reason they are now going right-wing. The idea being that it was those darn dang leftists that pushed them into these beliefs.
You know what? I'll give
when
him
in
that.
reality,
I'll give him that. If somebody says some dumb fuckery online and you say, well, I'm right-wing now.
Yeah, that's always been pretty silly to me. Like,
because that's how politics work. I can't.
I mean, for me, it was always like, I don't think I could ever. Well, the only way that you could ever consider me in the future, like, to be right, would be like if the scale shifted so much.
Yeah.
And like,
because it's about the policies. It's about the. Yeah, I can't. Let's just go.
it was their beliefs and failure to recognize those beliefs that isolated them from leftist spaces. It doesn't take long scrolling Urbanski's Twitter to find the same alt-right rhetoric being used against tabletop gamers. And I gotta tell you, it was one single tweet that made me feel the desire, the anger that I needed to write this. Urbanski retweets Taylor Lane's attempt to brigade Lucas Rollins, who we've established is a Brazilian tabletop designer who only reacted in anger initially because they were being policed by a known right.
So it's okay to react in anger if the person who you're talking to is known to be right wing. Is that what I'm getting from this? Because in the beginning, they acted like the other person was the one not being hostile, but now he's saying they only reacted with hostility because, right? Am I wrong? Chat, am I wrong? I'll check my phone in a second for chat. I don't know. If I click over here, is it gonna like mess everything up? If I go over there, look at chat.
No, it'll just take a second for the thing to adjust.
Okay, I'm gonna do that because I'm tired of picking up my phone. There's only 2 positions allowed. Let's see. They had some pro-environment views too, so watch out. Everyone who doesn't believe his idea is a communist. Okay, let's see. Yeah, there's the one I was talking about before. Bad people believe breathing is good. So we should stop breathing. Yes, dude, yes. It's easier to win arguments if you set the terms and definitions. That's what it feels like. That's what this feels like. Also, I just have to say again, thank you for being here, you guys, because I was worried that I was just going to be screaming about this all alone since I, didn't advertise it ahead of time, but I knew that I had to do this right now. But I'm not going to waste your time with a lot more of this right this minute. So, wait, what? A quick look at his Twitter will confirm he's farming hate comments on his videos. Yeah, that's what this feels like. And I've never heard of this guy before I saw this video on Twitter. And that's the first I've heard of this dude. But even just based on the screen caps we've seen so far, and we're not even that far into this video yet, it feels like reaching. So anyway, let's go back. Let's get what?
I mean, it said like known right wing something, but like Taylor has nothing to do with the right wing.
Well, see, that's the thing. I didn't want to say that because I don't actually know. I know
Taylor's apolitical, like completely. I've never seen Taylor say a single thing political in any way, and I suspect that if we were to have a discussion that was political with Taylor, it would probably be like, I don't think it would be right wing.
I'm curious about this. So right here it says, Taylor says, listen, I'm not sure why you feel like it's relevant to make reference to untrue gossip and cyberbullying I was victim of on Twitter, but I'm really just pointing out that the first rule of the subreddit requires you to clearly state in the title when you're promoting your own game. It's not a threat. It's not a hostile action. It's me pointing out that this subreddit has mods who are not me, who make rules that I also find inconvenient that we both have to deal with. We both have to follow or deal with their censure. Really not sure why you had to be hurtful about it. And this person, OP, says, oh, I see. Your answer to supposed cyberbullying with actual cyberbullying. That's really cool. What? What? Where in what Taylor just said did you see cyberbullying? Show me on the doll where Taylor hurt you. I am so fucking confused. And like so many people have been coming at me like, oh God, don't do a stream with Taylor Lane. Don't you know how terrible Taylor Lane is? And I've seen nothing. I've seen nothing yet. I've only heard people say, well, hearsay. That's what I've got. I've got hearsay. At least with Pundit, there's actual screen caps. And when I disagree with them, like I said, I say how I disagree with them. With Taylor, I've got fucking nothing. So, and then this shit, like people are all, oh, it's just a Google search away. Well, I'm sorry. I'm not really feeling like wasting my mental energy on a Google search when I see this right in front of my eyeballs. I'm witnessing it. I saw this happen in real time. I was watching this Reddit post and I see this thing about cyberbullying. What the fuck are you talking about?
Wing sympathizer at best. And one of Urbanski's followers says this in response. They won't be satisfied until they absolutely destroy the thing you love.
You know, a lot of people in the TTRPG community, especially the people like who follow Pundit or interact with him a lot, and Pundit himself, they speak in very extreme terms. And that's just a thing. It's not that deep.
In this weird dance, Taylor Lane plays the role of the civil liberal, retweeting things to their followers, to Urbanski, and thus to Urbanski's followers. If you watch the alt-right playbook, this is a standard move used against the left. You
People
make yourself
communicate.
appear as...
That's a standard move that people do.
And again, he's so fucking fixated on this is what the alt-right does. My dude, this is how human beings conversate. Go.
As the civil one, the one who doesn't understand what's going on. So you can
or maybe
repeat
they
this
really
kind
don't
of
understand what's
ableist,
going on.
anti-mental health rhetoric and simply say the actions of those in the screenshot weary me. You signal to everyone who sees.
Oh my god. So okay, I'm pretty sure he's gonna put it up on screen again. If he doesn't, I'll go back. But the tweets that Taylor's talking about that weary them, it's just a whole exhausting thing to read, honestly. I was there. I saw it unfolding in real time, and it's crazy. So we can't really see it here, but it's the person, Nora, well, whoever it was that said it's a public service announcement to go about, saying these things. And this person with the cat looking, I know y'all can't see me pointing at the screen. I don't know why I keep doing it. The black cat looking thing with the yellow eyes. So just to give you a taste, if you don't know already, of what we're dealing with when it comes to this person. This person was talking about my live stream with Taylor Lane and RPG Pundit before it happened, mind you. It was just like, tweeting about how I was advertising it or whatever. Like, hey, I'm going to do this. And they went out of their way to be like, yeah, I know nothing about this person, but, saying all this hateful shit about me while admitting they know nothing about me, right? And then they said about my post about the stream, they said, I've seen anal lesions that look more appealing than this, advert for this stream. And I responded and I just said, you've seen anal lesions? And that's it. That's all it took for that hard block. So feel free to disagree with me here, but it kind of feels like the people that we're dealing with are colossal goddamn snowflakes, and they couldn't even handle my snarky ass. I didn't even say anything terrible. This was before I committed the ultimate sin of doing a stream with Pundit and Taylor Lane. It was before that. And already, oh no, she saw what I said. Block like it's coward. Pussy.
Something like this is okay and normal. You signal to everyone who sees it that these are the enemy.
I'm gonna say it when I feel it. Okay, so what this person posted, the screenshots this person posted, Barnghoul, the screenshots that Barnghoul posted, those people, I can't with those people, okay? But to say that they all have personality disorders, that's a little fucked up. Oh, and he said the thing about other people's view counts because they were bitching about the people in this thread. They were bitching about me. Like, who even is this low view count having? How dare they have low views? And it's like, it feels mentally ill, but don't say that. That's a dick thing to say. You don't know if they've got mental disorders.
I'm gonna obsess about it.
It's weird, and people act like I'm the weird one because I don't obsess to the point where I hunt down these bad things in whatever context they're fed to me. I don't hunt them down to try to decide not to like these people because people tell me I shouldn't like these people. Like, no, bitch, I'm gonna find out for myself. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so I'm not gonna sit here and make the hard statement that these people are involved in cancel culture because I don't know. I don't know these people. But when I made my video about cancel culture, I made the hard statement that the people who are involved in stuff like that are champions at dehumanizing people. And when you talk about someone on Twitter, like, saying these extreme things like they do, and then that person you're talking about responds to you, and you freak out enough to need to block them, it's a little sus. Feels like maybe you're the one dehumanizing them, like Twitter isn't designed. Okay, so I guess they weren't directly tagging me or you, so I guess I can't say that in this case.
No, they were just talking about us.
Right, but it's like Twitter isn't designed for you to be able to. It's just that's a little dehumanized. I don't know.
They're
Do you see what I'm trying to
They're
say?
actually deliberately trying to keep it where it wouldn't come up on a search.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like they
Cowards.
you know.
Pussies. Yeah. Oh, and they do. This isn't really super relevant, but I have to throw it in. They knew so little about me at the time that they said that I was friends with Aaron, the notable chud, and they were going off about me. They knew fucking jack shit.
I've never been cool enough to have friends with benefits, I'm afraid.
Okay, let's keep going.
It's disgusting. The retweeted tweet is saying that a Black Canadian tabletop designer has a personality disorder because they simply remember why.
How about you're just being an asshole if you say somebody has a personality disorder when you don't actually know if they have a personality, or that's just a dick thing to say. I'm sorry, barn ghoul. Like, I'm not sitting here saying you're a terrible person or anything, not by a long shot. I'm just saying that was a dick thing to say. Anyway.
Taylor Lane was banned from so many sectors of the tabletop scene a year ago. They're making the act of remembering the alt-right and its players.
Banned? What do you mean banned? Like,
wait, what?
Said that Taylor was banned from sectors in that part of the tabletop, but what he's really talking about is like people's Discord servers where everybody had basically all agreed that Taylor is a bad person, so now we're just going to toss Taylor out. I mean, that's basically what they're saying here, because Taylor's not banned from Itch.io, Taylor's not banned from Drive-Thru, Taylor's not banned from Twitter or anything else. Taylor is not banned from anywhere by anybody with any kind of actual authority. He's just trying to make it sound like, oh yeah, such a bad guy, bad person, banned, thrown out on the keister, But no, it's just like, oh, so sad. They got thrown out of these particular little Discord servers, where people congregate and talk bad about each other.
I like how Nura here says, then Taylor proceeded to turn on all those people that spoke up for them. And then Taylor proceeded to lay low for a while, cozying up to Pundit, Venger, and the white supremacist OSR Chug Brigade. Yes. Us. Sure. I can't. It blows my mind because I know, but based on what I'm seeing here, I know that if I catch any of these people's attention, it's going to be Dolly Pop is a goddamn white supremacist. And it's like I'm not a fucking white supremacist. But, me saying that isn't enough. If I say something that a white supremacist has said one time, I'm a white supremacist, so. Okay.
Indefensible. Now, if you want to keep track of possible Nazis in your scene, you have a fucking personality disorder. Lane does this to convince those unaware of the situation that all attackers of Lane are doing so unprovoked. Urbanski doubles down on this idea and relabels all enemies as the woke OSR, naturalizing alt-right lingo for a whole new audience of people who believe they are here to enjoy a game.
So Pundit said the woke OSR contingent behaving badly as usual. The funny thing is that they always talk in generalities about being a community and inclusive, but on a personal level act like asses.
Where's the line?
Okay. I'm not going to say they act like... Yeah, I am. They act like asses.
Well, when we say they, we mean the people that he's showing.
Well, the specific people from the screenshots, they were acting like asses. I'm not gonna asses. I'm not gonna say that about the whole fucking left or anything like that. Talking in generalities about being a community and inclusive, they're a community and inclusive to people who say the approved things and follow the approved people. You're not allowed to have conversations with, engage with, or try to find out anything for yourself. You know what I mean? You have to become part of the Borg. You know what I mean? So anyway. Oh, that was the other thing. He said people who think they're here for a game. That's his Twitter, my guy. I don't get that. You think you're here for a game. I wonder what people think that they're here for when they come to somewhere like my YouTube channel, for example. I know I'm like nobody right now. I'm just saying, that's such a weird thing. Like, you think you're here for this, but oh no, you might get sideswiped by a bad opinion. Oh no.
Lane and co. frame themselves as politically neutral, despite their political language, and paint their enemies as infiltrators attempting to destroy the hobby. In the space,
I'm sorry to keep pausing it, but like these screenshots go by so fast. See, I'm just chuckling at Urbanski being called a grifter. I think he would be proud.
I think the screenshots go by so fast because they don't actually help the argument. It's just like, oh look at my research. Look.
Yeah, look at these look at all this research I did.
Proof.
It says the SJWs are a thing that actually exists and is bad. Let's not kid ourselves. You know exactly what kinds of people are being referred to with that title. To what degree they are problematic is an entirely different debate. Thinking people with very extremist views are bad doesn't automatically make someone dumb either. So thinking that somebody who has extremist views are bad doesn't make somebody automatically dumb. I'll even say it doesn't make somebody automatically dumb to go, this person expressed an extremist view, therefore they must believe everything associated with that extremist view. It's okay to talk to people you don't agree with. It's okay to get out of your echo chamber, because by doing so is truly the only way you can know for sure what your ideologies are, what your personal stances are, what your principles are. Because if you don't get out of your own little echo bubble and you feel threatened by the thought of even talking to someone with a different opinion, how strong are your alleged principles actually, So let's go on.
Span of 24 hours, they claimed a Brazilian creator was destroying everything they loved, and then decided a black creator.
There it is. There's me. Sorry. There's me. He took a screen cap of me saying that white supremacy is a serious accusation, but I've seen too many regular people accused of being white supremacists to take it seriously anymore, which is fucking true. I do require evidence stronger than a white supremacist disagreed with me once. Therefore, if you disagree with me, you are that. I stand by it. I need stronger evidence than a white supremacist disagreed with me once. Let's see. Taylor said, no, it's just really dumb Twitter drama that is now, I guess, spilling over to Reddit. At some point, some of the cool kids on the indie Twitter TTRPG scene decided that I had bad vibes, and now this just goes on forever. Oh God, they mentioned you too. I didn't see this before. So Kringe said, what did Taylor do? They don't seem that bad. And Minion said, also, Aaron is a pretty decent guy. And I love how that was worthy of inclusion in his screen caps of the bad people, I guess. Hey, yo, he's a pretty decent guy. Look at this proof of white supremacy.
Like, having a personality disorder. That should scare you.
Oh, I'm so scared. I'm so scared. I am so scared of opinions on Twitter. I'm fucking terrified. Let me look at the chat real quick because it's been a minute. Let's see if we have anything else. Sideswiped by a bad opinion. Yeah, Cal. It's wacky. So Geeky Bungle says, Bugle, I'm sorry, says, Pundit isn't a Nazi. If anything, you might say he's a Zionist. I've heard the word Zionist. Not quite entirely sure what that means yet. Right. I will learn. In fact, I was actually serious. The one thing that I will get from this video we're watching here is I will go to the link that he, prescribed for learning what all these terms mean. It would help me when calling out people for their headassery. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Geeky Bugle said, but they still claim the alt-right are the hateful ones. Really? Mm-hmm. Look at the amount of hate it took to make a 56-minute long video about this with what has up to this point been essentially almost fucking nothing. I don't know. But you know what? I can sit here and say that, but look at me. Look at me. I'm making a whole ass live stream about it. I've been screaming for the last hour. I don't know. But this is like a This is like a PSA of, you know, hate these people because they did the bad. I don't know. But yeah, Aaron asked me before I started this, why don't you just make a video about it? And it's like, I don't know. I'd rather get it over with and alive. Like, it's not worth more of my energy than that. All that editing and stuff. Why does this matter? Thank you. Yes. Let's go. Stop using that good music.
The last 10 years have been a time of exponential growth for the tabletop.
Real quick, I just have to point out where I stopped the video and decided I had to stream this. So everything from this point forward, you're going to get my organic reaction.
This was bought by Hasbro, the biggest American toy company. Critical Role popularized the streaming of tabletop games and raised $11 million for an animated series of their campaign that was then bought by Amazon Prime. Stranger Things and other pop culture shows played the game in episodes, reminding an old audience of the joy from the 70s and 80s.
Is he going to go off about this is important because a bunch of young, impressionable people are going to be coming into the gaming community and we must protect them from opinions we don't agree with? Is that where this is going? That's where it feels like this is going.
While introducing a new crowd to the possibilities. It's led to expansion upon expansion. Last year, a tabletop game that has nothing to do with D&D raised nearly $10 million on Kickstarter. The audience is growing, and most of them are kids, teenagers,
there we go,
and young adults. In 2018, Vice wrote several articles detailing the growth of white supremacy on Facebook, the havens that Discord, the chat platform, provided to neo-Nazis, and the spread of fascist ideology on TikTok. Why does this matter, you may ask? Well, first of all, kids use TikTok. But second of all, I only...
Pay attention to what your kid does. And if you can't do that, don't give them technology and the internet before you're prepared to do that. Because even if we're not talking about games, literal hobbies, some wild shit goes on TikTok, you guys. Either keep your kids off TikTok or just, you know, make sure you're paying attention. You know, that goes for all things, really. And here's the thing. What Pundit does is not, to my knowledge, made for children. And this is something that really drives me crazy about, the think of the children. You know, not everything is made for children, you know, and I'm very protective of children, but we're allowed to have things that could be bad for kids because it's not made for them, you know? Okay.
Googled to find that article because Urbanski made a blog post that same year saying Gen Z is going to overthrow SJW.
I've said that same thing. Holy shit. I haven't said it publicly, but I've said that same thing. Actually, I think I have, because I've talked about how that pendulum is going to swing back around. And I've said before how, I said it on my cancel culture video. I said how the younger people and the new and up and coming people, they're going to be the ones who are going to turn this back around out of this super sensitive censorship mentality. They're going to be the ones to overthrow SJW millennials. It's facts. Just like we overthrew the boomers and we got our, up until recently, got more, sexual liberation, got more fucking, we're not as hyper conservative as the boomers. I know a lot of people who watch me are boomers. No offense. That's just what happens. He's not wrong. So Pundit made a post, says TikTok is proof that Gen Z is going to overthrow SJW millennials. I'm over 24, so I don't understand anything on TikTok. None of it makes any sense to me. However, it's pretty clear to me that the SJW crowd is losing their shit over TikTok, meaning it must be awesome. And some stuff on TikTok is pretty awesome. I like TikTok. And of course, the reason why they're losing their shit is because they don't own it. They don't own it. It doesn't belong to the millennials. Okay. It belongs to their younger siblings, the Gen Z, who are very clearly sick of the SJW shit. Good. That's basically exactly what I was saying. Here's hope for the next generation, courtesy of Sargon of Akkad. Oh, okay. So that must be Sargon's video, the TikTok, the Nazi app. So that's fun. That's fun. We'll talk about Sargon sometime. Not now, though.
Yeah. You thought I was done. You thought I only had some evidence, but I'm not done.
Evidence.
Evidence of what?
No way. Urbanski believes that Gen...
Whoa! Whoa. So pundit said that the teenagers of today are going to get sick of the SJW shit and they're going to turn the tides. Therefore, he's a white supremacist? Is that what what? The proof of what?
Z is the future of the alt-right. But here's how he words it. It's pretty clear to me that the SJW crowd is losing their shit over TikTok, meaning it must be awesome. And of course, the reason why they're losing their shit is because they don't own it. It doesn't belong to the millennials. It belongs to their younger siblings, the Gen Z, who are very clearly sick of the SJW's shit. A video of a known alt-right white supremacist, Sargon of Akkad.
I knew
is
it. I knew he was
embedded
going
on
to
the
say that
page.
about Sargon.
All right, it's time for Grams to show his age here.
Before we get into this, I was actually talking to Aaron recently about how with Sargon, like, I don't like him anymore. He irritates me. So this is another great example of how, for me, I can follow and listen to people I don't agree with. It's okay. I'm doing all right.
Because I've never used TikTok. Let's see if I can find the fucking Nazis on TikTok, right?
All right.
Never used it. This.
What?
So he's never used TikTok, but we're gonna go find the Nazis on TikTok. What? I don't understand. This is like, I'm not gonna say that. I'll get in trouble. Never mind. Let's move on.
Gamers, here's the 412. Take an English undergrad course, complete and succeed your English degree, gain some sort of income from writing, earn the qualifications to become a teacher. Finally, read out of Mice Men to the class. Get to say the N-word in front of the little black kids.
Fucking
It's
zoomers.
weird. No Hitler hashtag, but it's a beacon of white supremacy. It seems to be kids having fun.
These are the kind of people Urbanski
Yes!
endorses.
Yes, it's just kids having fun. It's kids being edgy. This guy, I don't have any fucking idea how old he is, okay? Not a clue. He looks older than me. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, he's definitely older than you.
How old would you say that guy is? Just I don't want to be mean or not mean. I'm not a good judge of age.
Are you talking about in body or spirit?
In body.
I think he's older than me.
So like 40s maybe?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's just say for the sake of argument this guy's like 40. Okay. So maybe he doesn't know what it's like to just be an edgy teenager. And this is kind of like, this has been said by so many people. I know I'm just regurgitating, but it's fucking true. Like, let's say so he doesn't know what it was like to be an edgy teenager when the internet began, when it really started picking up speed. I remember those days. I remember how fucking wild everything was back then. And if you're some 40-ass-year-old man, I know you remember what the internet used to be like, okay? This is the same fucking thing, dude. Like, it's just kids being edgy. It's not that deep. They act like everything is the goddamn end times. It's just not that serious. Like, and it was kind of funny.
These are the ideas he endorses, and Urbanski is who Taylor Lane endorses. It's this chain, this rabbit hole that I feel like I'm going down right now, and I can hardly believe what I see.
Same.
This is in our backyard, and you may be asking, like, how is Taylor Lane
literally same?
Endorsing Urbanski? Is Lane supposed to curate their followers? Do you expect someone to check on everyone that follows them? And you're right. Maybe that's a ridiculous thing to expect.
Maybe.
To those of you who say that, it wouldn't matter that they've responded to each other in the comments of tweets or that they are retweeting each other. It's just a coincidence that they happen to know each other and happen to follow each other and all this stuff.
What is
And
it?
to that I say,
we're here with
people
RPG
don't just meet.
Pundit and
Hey, look,
Taylor
it's me.
Lane to talk about gender in the TTRPG community.
that's an endorsement. The liberal at best Lane is going to talk to the alt-right Urbanski about gender in tabletop games. You remember Urbanski, right?
Hey, wait a second. I was there too. like how he doesn't say anything about me, even though he's pulling things that I've said. I mean, we're not done with the video. Maybe he does. He's pulling things that I've said. Use my fucking video where I was just talking, but maybe he just doesn't have enough shit to dig up on me yet. I bet he tried, because he pulled up that one tweet I had where I said I need more proof than, yada yada, to say somebody's definitively a white supremacist. Ugh! And he's acting like Taylor was endorsing Pundit, my guy. That was my video. You could argue that I was endorsing it. You couldn't.
Having a conversation is endorsement.
Having a conversation is endorsement now. Fuck. So, okay, every fucking presidential debate there has ever been, fucking Biden was endorsing Trump, you guys. They debated. They talked. Fuck.
We were just talking
I'm
about him. He's someone who really likes Camille Paglia and endorses Trump. Trump. The podcast was hosted by Tabletop. I don't know why, but she's chosen to make herself complicit in this discussion. You can't tell me a speaker isn't researching the people that will be given their platform beforehand. I'm
not. You know why? Because I can have organic conversations with people and find out things for my own goddamn self. And what I'm seeing from what I'm researching, sir, into you right at this very moment, I don't really care to have much to do with you. So, okay.
Common courtesy to your speakers and just good etiquette for a public speaker themselves. You know who.
Okay. I can understand that bit. To research into somebody you're going to talk to before talking to them, to be considered a common courtesy. I can see that in terms of when it comes to their business. When it comes to, if we're going to talk about products you've made, or we're going to talk about whatever. Otherwise, I mean, we were just having a conversation. When you meet somebody on the street, you don't really have the option of digging into who they are, online. I understand it in a way to say that it's common courtesy to know about the people you're about to talk to before you talk to them. But it's kind of a weird argument to use here, considering that what you're trying to say is that I should have looked into them enough to decide that they were bad people and not associate with them, which is kind of what somebody else on Twitter, I can't remember who it was, somebody else on Twitter said that to me before one time, about how, if you just took the time to dig into it and to do this and that and the other, then you would know. And I'm just like, or no, they accused me of not being capable of coming to, conclusions on my own, or I'm not capable of coming to conclusions on my own, or deciding to call people out for their bullshit, which is insane. I'm calling you out for your bullshit right now, for example. But the thing is, it's not that I'm not capable of calling people out on their bullshit. You're just mad that I don't have the same opinion as you. You see what I'm saying? So, I don't know. Yeah. I didn't do research on you before making this video, so sorry for that social faux pas of lack of common courtesy.
Who you're going to talk to, so you can shape the conversation in a way that is more likely to get you a good conversation and thus more views. Best case scenario, Tabletop is a bad host who didn't research either of these two people and just decided, without even scrolling their Twitters, to give them
Twitters.
About, and I have to emphasize this, gender and TTRPGs streamed out to whoever happens to be listening. Worst case scenario.
I was irresponsible for not considering who could have watched my stream and could have been exposed to bad opinions. How irresponsible of me. I don't understand this. I don't understand this logic. And you know what? I had scrolled through their Twitters. I had seen what they've said publicly. I had talked to both of them in private chat extensively so that we could set up the motherfucking stream, you absolute walnut. What the fuck are you talking about? And you know what? Call me whatever you want. Call me a fucking Nazi if that's what it comes to. I don't feel like I need to protect other people from bad opinions. I am a huge supporter of, free knowledge for all. If just think about it. Okay, this that I'm about to say, it's trolling. Okay, it's a joke. But just imagine if nobody ever was like me and was so bad and did no research and had no conversation, how would you find more dirt to dig up on people? No, that's what they want, though. They want everybody banned from public space who has bad opinions. It's the censorship thing again, you know? Let's hear about the
Lollipop
worst case.
saw the commotion happening from a couple of racists and decided to capitalize off that by stirring the pot and rebranding all of it in an attempt to normalize alt-right behaviors and demonize the left. Which do you think is happening?
So I like this, that he put up the one where I said I was going to retweet into oblivion, the tweet that said, free speech is not about guaranteeing truth. It's about expanding our world, our minds. When you cancel or censor someone with whom you disagree, you lose a perspective in the world, a perspective that you can never replace by yourself, which really beautifully encapsulates what I just was trying to say. I stand by that to my grave. Actually, I said that in this other screenshot. I'm going to retweet this into oblivion. Yes. Now, was I capitalizing on pot stirring? No. I wanted to have a conversation about gender and TTRPGs with two people who were interested in discussing it with me. It's just not any deeper than that. Now, did I know that Pundit was a controversial figure? Yes. Did I know that Taylor Lane was a controversial figure? Barely. The point is, I knew that people had bad things to say about Taylor, yes. However, my interactions with both of these people, I never had a horrible interaction where I felt like they just needed to be I can't imagine having a conversation with anyone where I felt like they needed to be censored into oblivion unless they were like, I don't know, threatening me, like actually threatening me, not threatening my fifis, actually threatening me, or like endorsing something like what's something terrible, like actually terrible, pedophilia. There you go. They should be silenced. Okay. I don't feel like I need to make it a job to silence someone because I don't agree with them. I guess that makes me a Nazi. Rebranding it. That was what it was. Rebranding what? I don't understand.
As the left. Which do you think is happening? Trick question. It doesn't matter. If it quacks like a duck, it's a duck. I personally refuse to watch this podcast on our YouTube channel. I refuse to signal to you.
You refuse to watch it. That's exactly the kind of shit I'm talking about. You can't even fucking watch it. You don't know what went on there. You just know in your heart that it was all a bunch of white supremacist, Nazi, goddamn fascist talk going on in my chat. None of which, by the way, actually happened in that stream. It was a very, very chill stream. We talked about some interesting things, but like nothing. I don't even feel like we talked about anything like hot button or like I don't know. I'm getting hung up.
YouTube that it is content worth watching. I'm not going to do it. But hypothetically, if I wanted to do research and see what the hell happened in that podcast, I could hypothetically just download the video and watch it with my VLC player.
Okay.
Hypothetically.
But you're not gonna.
In Minecraft.
Interacting and talking with the kind of hipster indie OSR crowd, and then you ended up because you're an open-minded person, ended up talking to people from, say, what we could call the inglorious OSR, including people like me, and you've had an experience of both, so to say, communities, right?
Yeah, we could put it that way.
The conservative OSR can look mean, right? We're like, we don't fucking care about.
So you did watch it.
Your gender identity or your race or outright comments that could be offensive comments to people, right? And especially, I've seen a lot of OSR people when talking in generalities express a lot of distrust, dislike, or resentment towards LGBT people or things like that. But then on the particular level, when they're talking person to person with another person, it works much better for you to help and support each other than to try to push the other people down, right? So suddenly, on a personal level, everyone's willing to ignore any of the assumptions they might have about you and give you the opportunity, as long as you don't look like you're going to, attack them, right?
I'm
So-
confused.
What?
Hold on. I'm lost for context here. I don't know what he's talking about. I mean, I know that was part of my stream, but I don't remember where. Do you follow this?
No, I got lost.
I'm lost. I don't know. Maybe I'm just being stupid right now. I'm not sure what Pundit was talking about there. Well, I was trying to go to where it started because I got lost on what the hell we're talking about.
Hypothetically, like in Minecraft.
Interacting and talking with the kind of hipster indie OSR crowd, and then you ended up because you're an open-minded person, ended up talking to people from, say, what we
Okay,
could call
so
the
he's talking
Inglorious
about what happened to Taylor Lane. I think alleged what happened to Taylor Lane. So I guess that's the context.
OSR, including
That Taylor Lane dared to talk to people. I don't know.
people like me, and you've had an experience of both, so to say, communities, right?
Yeah, we could put it that way.
The conservative OSR can look mean, right? We're like, we don't fucking care about, your
okay, I
your
get-
comments.
So what Pundit's saying is that from the outside perspective, it can look like people like him don't care about these issues. And I guess he's saying that that's not true, which I mean, I don't think that that's true. I mean, I think that, yeah, it can definitely look that way because that's how people like to make it look.
That could be offensive comments to people, right? And especially, I've seen a lot of OSR people, when talking in generalities, express a lot of distrust, dislike, or resentment towards LGBT people or things like that. But then on the particular level, when they're talking person to person with another person, it works much better for you to help and support each other than to try to push the other people down, right? So suddenly, on a personal level, everyone's willing to ignore any of the assumptions they might have about you and give you the opportunity, as long as you don't look like you're going to, attack them, right?
I'm confused, honestly.
What?
This must be too far out of context. I'm lost.
Oh my god! Did he just literally say that the conservative OSR tolerates queer people and people of color because it's mutually beneficial in a monetary sense?
Is that what
he
he
just fucking said?
I don't know.
Versus the woke OSR,
just said
who
cooperation.
Yeah, I'm lost.
I'd say we should probably move past it.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep going because I'm lost.
look like they're all about love and light on the abstract level, and on the personal level are absolute garbage.
Yeah.
Wow, that did not take long.
I mean, I didn't agree with the whole, that they're garbage, but that's again another example of Pundit saying things in a much harsher, much more pot stirry way than I would say things. I don't think that they're garbage. I think that they're trying. I believe that they're trying to do what they see as best. That was like the most thing I've ever said. I think that they believe that what they do is for the greater good. I just don't believe that censorship or refusing to talk to people who have different opinions than you is good. Ever.
This is what it looks like when the alt-right tries to gain a foothold in your social space. I think all Americans know about this strategy because the American media have been doing it for over 20
strategy? This is so wild. This is like the fourth time he's brought up this whole strategy. Like it's all a fucking conspiracy. Like everybody's trying to worm their way into spaces and corrupt. Like, dude, like, I mean, if that's really what they believe, no wonder they try to censor everybody. That's nuts. Okay. I only entered this whole genre because of Aaron getting into it. And that's how I found out who Pundit was. And I'd had very little interaction. And then I started making videos, and then it was, and I started doing more streams with Aaron. And it's like, that's how I met. I didn't go digging into every single person I met. Like I knew that people thought, Pundit bad, but like it wasn't worth my energy to try to find reasons to dislike him. I don't think it's worth my energy to try to find reasons to dislike anyone. Like, even though based on this video, I'm not a huge fan of you at the moment, I'm not going to finish this stream and then go digging into your Twitter or digging into your blog post or whatever the fuck, your YouTube channel. I'm not going to go digging for reasons to dislike you, you know? I got shit to do, man.
Why most of us feel like we can't trust news sources and instead rely on each other to keep us
Yeah.
informed.
Yeah. You rely on each other because God forbid you accidentally interact with someone you may not like. God forbid. Let's just circle jerk each other into oblivion. You know, one of these days, it may be unearthed that, you know, or not, you know, I'm not even going to say that because no, that's not going to happen. One of these days, Pundit might say something that I dislike enough to be like, you know what? I don't want to interact with them anymore. Not saying I have reason to think that right now. I'm just saying it's possible. That could happen with literally anyone. That could happen with Taylor. That could happen with Aaron. You know, it's extremely unlikely. That could happen with literally anyone you meet ever. But let that happen before you just decide, protect myself from different opinion.
It's why liberalism allows fascism to flourish, because you can hide behind this ignorance that what these people are saying aren't dog whistles. I mean, that's the point of a dog whistle. That's why they call themselves the alt-right to begin with, because being called a neo-Nazi doesn't sound good on ABC News. But now even the term alt-right holds so much weight that they don't even self-proclaim that anymore. They keep hiding, disguising their rhetoric, but they never go.
Let me just say, after I do this stream, I'm going to do some digging. I'm going to try to find out what exactly defines the alt-right. And if I find that I fit that description, I will proclaim myself to be alt-right. You know, if the label is so goddamn important. But, you know, at the end of the day, people are fucking people, man. People's opinions shift, people change. Like, it's not, I mean, this level of trying to hide from the bad people is just unhealthy. If you always hide from the bad people, how will you know a bad people when they come knocking at your door wanting to do a bad thing to you? You know, I'd much rather know what's coming, I guess. I don't know. I like that. Cal said, Pundit always points out that the woke is like 8% or less. That's not the whole left. And that's good to point out because I consider myself fairly left, but I don't consider myself an SJW. So why is it that only the commies hear the dog whistle? I don't know if this guy's a communist. Okay, I can't say that. Lynchpin said, yeah, you're gonna have to delete and edit the stream, or they're gonna take that out of context. There's so much I've said on here that could be taken out of context. I'm really not worried about it. You know, like I've said on Twitter before, if somebody, you know, is gonna be like this and not look into it for themselves, not talk to me and form their own opinion, or decide they don't like me because the right people said that they can't like me, I'm okay with that. I don't, you know, I'm not really fussed on it. Isn't the alt-right itself a video game? What? Anyway, so yeah, let me pull back up that YouTube video. I accidentally, you know, my laptop was being weird.
There's a bit in the Philosophy Tube video in Antifa where she talks about the difference between anti-fascist violence and fascist violence. The idea being that when the anti-fascists win, the fascists are just kind of pushed into hiding, afraid to speak their horrible thoughts out loud for fear of repercussions, social repercussions usually.
I thought that fascists weren't scared and they were loud and they enforced their bad things onto bad people, right? Am I wrong? I thought that's what a fascist was. Okay.
When the fascists win, the anti-fascists are dead. You've made it this far and you still want more evidence. Maybe these are
or
all
any
just good
evidence,
kids
maybe
having a laugh.
Maybe
it's
a
okay
crumb
to
of
be
evidence.
followed and to follow Urbanski and
well, we all died in 2012, so
There you go.
it's about gender specifically. Well, if I have to keep going to convince you or just to give you more things to think about, if I really dig in deep, I think I could probably find something. Give me a second.
Could you find one thing, sir? One thing that is evidence of whatever it is here you're trying to prove, which honestly, I'm not too clear on what that is. Are you trying to prove that these people are alt-right, that they're the bad? I could use a crumb of proof. Thank you.
Oh yeah, Urbanski tried to start a D&D gate.
You mean, I don't know what this is. Preface this by saying I don't know what this is. Haven't heard of this yet. Isn't that the thing that all these people try to do? To gate the bad people out of the hobby? And need I remind you again, everyone watching this, you sir making this, it's a game. It's a hobby. You know, it's just none of this is that serious.
So you know about Gamergate, right? Again, if you don't and you want some
Gamergate.
education, I'll point you towards Ian Danskin's video. It's an end note on the alt-right playbook. In the year of our Lord, 2022, 7 years.
You know what? I actually probably will watch that because I've heard tale of this Gamergate. I'm still not 100% sure of what it is, so I will learn something. More than I can say for this video. I've learned nothing from this video.
Was removed from the initial thing called Gamergate. It is well documented and proven it was never about ethics in games journalism. That is a dog whistle.
Exactly.
Always has been, always will be.
I've heard that before.
It sucks, but that conversation, the one that could have been fruitful, it was completely ruined by the alt-right. This video is not about Gamergate, but this article that I'm...
The conversation was ruined by having to converse with someone with different thoughts.
Good place to start. Again, if you're looking at all of this with fresh eyes and have no idea what is going on. Over the years, Wizards of the Coast, the current holders of Dungeons and Dragons, have done some work when it comes to listening to marginalized identities. People asking for less sexist language, a more nuanced understanding of race, or the removal of race entirely in exchange for something like ancestry, which you ask, they'll either say, it's just a game, quit trying to put politics into our completely apolitical game that has never said anything political ever. Or they'll say that Wizards of the Coast haven't done enough yet. Take a guess which camp you think Urbanski fits in. And then guess how deep he is into that camp.
Truly,
in
I can't
2018,
guess.
Jeremy Crawford, one of the people at Wizards of the Coast, tweeted this: if a kingdom in D&D was forcibly separating children from their parents and putting the kids in detention centers, the heroes would do everything in their power to reunite those families.
But we can't do that anymore. It's the thing. A lot of people now don't want anything bad to happen in D&D, even though the point is for the heroes to go out and stop the bad people. But we can't have bad people because bad people bad. So what are we fighting? I don't know.
Families. Let's be at least as good as the heroes in D&D. Hashtag D&D. Hashtag compassion. This is what Urbanski quote retweeted that with. And if Wizards of the Coast were in D&D land, they'd be a group of greedy merchants pretending to be paladins, unwisely using some idiot mouthpieces who were secretly fanatical cultists out to destroy civilization. He's talking about leftists again, if that wasn't clear. It was clear. He continues with, this is proof of why we need a hashtag D&D gate. It's funny. That actually reminds me of something. It's a funny story, actually. It's totally not related to any of this. Don't worry. We'll wrap back around to it. But there's this fella named Grim Jim, who is active on TTRPG YouTube.
Grim Jim, his tweet about this video is actually what led me here. So I'm interested to see what he has to say about Grim Jim.
Oh,
He wrote an article called In the Defense of... I don't even know if I can say this word on YouTube.
In defense of what?
Really want-
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah,
I will say, if I remember correctly, I'm not going to look at Twitter right now to check. If I remember correctly, Grim Jim said that he lied about what Grim Jim said, and yeah, let's just see.
That detailed his male perspective about how that is okay in games. At best, you could...
something that's included in the game somehow.
See, when I heard that, I thought it was talking about, is it okay to have the bad guys doing the bad thing to people so that you can go and punish them for doing the bad thing to people? Not so much about whether or not the players themselves.
Well, I wasn't talking about players specific. Well, I mean, I guess I kind of brought up an analogy that suggested.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But
I'd be a little concerned, but like, are you allowed? But it's an imaginary. I would rather find out organically that someone at my table was the kind of person who wants to rape people in game for the sake of the rape rather than read something on Twitter and decide that I believe that that's what that person's like. You feel me?
Well, not his conversation to have. And at worst, I mean, the title kind of says it all. He wrote a few
There
other
you go.
things,
Yeah,
including the
that's the
game
title.
Hentacle, a portmanteau of hentai and tentacle. In an interview, he was asked if the game was just about that, to which he responded, just no. And honestly, after reading so much of this stuff, researching, that made me laugh really hard. Like, no, it's not just about that. It's also about stereotyping and fetishization. Like, fucking hell, James. Beyond that, though, the
Hang on.
act of
Isn't this just a game about monster rape?
out that, to which he responded, just no.
Okay. It's also about the stereotyping and fetishization of Japanese popular culture and Western misconceptions. It's also about puns, and it's also pornography. Most things I write or work, I put layers into. Yeah. So out of context, no, it's not just about rape. Like, that's not what he said, you fucking, and I know you 40-ass-year-old man, if you have the capacity to make a video like this with so much research, so much effort put into it, you know good and goddamn well that's not what he said. And he says it's about Japanese pop culture and Western misconceptions of it. And it's a pun on the fact that it's a meme that Japanese people like tentacle porn. That's a whole ass meme since like fucking 2010. So, you know, I don't about stereotyping and fetishization. I'm sorry, did we just read the same thing? Stereotyping and fetishization. No, it's about the stereotypes. It's not about stereotyping. It's a fine line, I'll grant you, but you have the capacity to understand the difference here. It's about the fact that these things are fetishized and stereotyped. It's not about doing the fetishizing and stereotyping. I can't fucking talk right now, God.
Isn't funny. It highlights the kind of narrativism.
But yeah, notice this man is not bringing up the threats, the threats that the people who are seemingly on his side made of rape and violence. Actual threats, not imaginary gaming action. But whatever.
To reposition themselves. When James wrote the article, people's complaints were that he wrote it at all. And instead, it's reframed to be a difficult conversation that James thinks we should have, sweeping his brash forum responses. And again, the fact that he wrote...
Again, conversations. We need conversations. Are you not conversating right now? Are you not... Well, I guess not. I guess maybe you're just expecting an echo chamber. In fact, I know you are, because I know you're deleting comments. I saw where you admitted to deleting comments. You can't even have a conversation of your own where you ignited the conversation. I don't know. God, fuck.
Wrote the article at all under the rug in service of this unrecognized speaker against the puritanical views of the internet. And that's the thing. That's the kind of conversation that people might actually want to have. And articles like this paint James as the man for the job and the man doing the job, when in reality, he wrote an article many found offensive and was then given a platform for it. The more you learn, the...
You know what, man? I find what you're saying offensive. Should I try to take away your platform? You've offended me with how ridiculous this is.
More of these things seem so obvious, and honestly, they start to weigh on you. Appearing civil and intelligent and in the right is their goal. Like, no matter their underlying beliefs.
Appearing civil and in the right. They couldn't possibly just be civil. They are appearing civil. Because people who disagree with you couldn't actually be civil, could they? Could they?
Appearing civil grants plausible deniability. It grants access to even larger platforms. It lets you say literally whatever you want about the conversation about you. You get to...
Oh no! You can say whatever you want about the conversation about you? Why I never. Is this what the world is now? It's considered bad that you're allowed to have a conversation about yourself? What?
Paint history. If you wish to go deeper down the rabbit hole with me and see what James truly believes and how this has anything to do with what we have been talking about, Well, I'm going to give you this chance to take the blue pill and go back to your normal life. Forget about all of this. People wanted specifics, and I've given what I believe is plenty to dissuade you from interacting with these folks and the sources to educate yourself so you too can point this shit out when it happens.
Okay.
But there is more.
Sure, buddy.
Look at the timeline below. Like we're halfway through right now. So
Oh God, we're only
either take the
halfway
blue
through.
pill and wake up back
Oh,
in your
no.
bed, believing whatever you want to believe, or
I'm gonna try to
take the
pause
red
less.
pill and see how deep the rabbit hole goes.
Outrage monger, yeah.
James Desborough wrote a book on Gamergate. James is a game.
Geeky Bugle said Grimm has been harassed by the tolerant left for years. That's the thing. The tolerant left, and remind you again, I do consider myself to be left-leaning, but the tolerant left does the most harassing ass shit I've ever seen. Yeah, sorry about the tapping. Is it any better? I guess I should have asked, like, fuck, how long have I been on this? Hours ago, how the audio was. My bad. Boomer over here. Geeky Bugle said worst. He's moralizing about fetishes, about a guy that is pro sex work and has a game with porn stars he streams. All cool and good things. Yeah, I mean, fetishes are fine to have. Well, not all fetishes. I can't say all fetishes are fine to have. Fuck. Generally speaking, though. Pro sex work, yeah. I'm also pro sex work. Cool and good things. Has a game with porn stars that he streams. I don't see anything wrong with that either. Like, God forbid people just have hobbies. Let's see. Search the hashtag not your shield. I will. Charles Smith said, did he make this before Grimm left inappropriate characters? That was before Joe became a host, if I recall. What year is this? Let's see when he made this, because I thought, I mean, like I said, Grim Jim's tweet is what brought me here. He tweeted about this, and I just kind of assumed it was brand new. Actually, no, it can't be that old, because he used screen caps from what happened with me, and he used my stream with Pundit and Taylor Lane. So that this is new. This is not old.
Worked in the tabletop industry since before you or I ever have, but he's friends with the racist who tried to start D&D Gate. Good thing it failed.
Okay. You peer through the mouse hole and not gonna. Let's see. Looks like people are role playing on Twitter. What does that have to do with anything? Okay. Did you know that hashtags can be trademarked? Because I just dropped $297 for the trademark D&D Gate, which means once I own it, every time it's used by a God damn. Okay, so I guess these are people opposing D&D Gate. Nothing about what D&D Gate actually was. Fuck.
So yeah.
I'm not rewinding again. Again, I feel like these screenshots go by so fast because they're a lot of nothing.
Yeah, D&D Gate failed thanks to people's actions. We take those W's. Grimm and Urbanski share the podcast with a third.
Yes. You bought a trademark for a hashtag. Look at you, the hero of our times, the hero we didn't deserve. Dare I say the hero we didn't ask for. Fuck. As if there aren't people on the other side trying to D&D Gate, you know? I don't know what pundit tried to make it, but I see plenty of people trying to say that plenty of people with the bad people should not be a part of the hobby, should not be allowed a voice.
Person, Finger Satanus, who I don't want to waste a lot of time on. He started the blog Your Dungeon is Racist to, as they say, find Nazis in the tabletop scene, but it's actually just some sort of weird attempt at making fun of the leftists who claim that fascist ideology still exists. The most recent post is mocking a free adventure based around working in a coffee shop. Finger says, I don't think I need to give any commentary on this.
God forbid Vinger have an opinion. And I'll say, Vinger has had plenty of opinions that I disagree with. I don't think there's any reason to make fun of the coffee shop D&D game. I mean, I am a big fan of let people have fun however they want to have fun. It's fine. They can exist at the same time. God, people are allowed to say things. I don't need to give any commentary on this. It speaks for itself. Are people not allowed to make fun of things? I feel like everybody should be allowed to make fun of anything. So, ugh.
It speaks for itself. So to that, I'll say, I don't need to give any commentary on the need to insult a free adventure that you don't like.
Oh, look at you.
It speaks for itself. He wrote another article calling to rebrand the OSR as
hypocrisy.
Let's Go Brandon. He mocked the queer community for being against racism and bigotry by writing a letter with the surprisingly revealing last line: trans rights are more important than your right to not be threatened by radical leftist extremists. If you
Again, Venger says plenty of things I don't necessarily agree with.
translate it, radical leftist extremists
translate
translates
it.
to Antifa, and
God.
that translates to anti-fascists.
People can't
And
just
they
be saying what they're saying,
counter-protest,
can they?
you guessed it, fascist rallies. And yes, we'll punch a Nazi. He also wrote a post called "You Might Be a Nazi" that is, again, revealing. Not only is it accompanied by a 4chan made meme.
You might be a Nazi. If you've ever liked or supported Venger Satanis and his various works, you might be a Nazi. If you've never said you wanted to punch someone because they were a Nazi, you might be a Nazi. If you don't categorize those with whom you disagree as inhuman and or evil, you might be a Nazi. Is he wrong?
Meme mocking anti-fascists, but it is also he made it like in response to somebody being banned from a Discord channel for supporting Vinger openly. In the post, he just lists a bunch of things that might make you a Nazi, and it's all just like in an attempt to mock leftist ideology. He has things like, if
But
you
you
routinely
literally said
colonize
that.
dungeons or the subterranean dwellings of monsters, you might be a Nazi. Or if you think people sitting around a table, or generally speaking, living their lives should be able to speak their minds freely without abuse, harassment, or the threat of cancelization, you might be a Nazi.
But is he wrong? That's the views that you're expressing to me in this video, John. Or maybe not even necessarily just this video, in the comment on your own video where you said that you can't speak to Nazis or share one ideal that a Nazi might have had at one point because that will make you a Nazi. Is he wrong? You can say it's making fun of it. Is it incorrect? I don't know.
You have to give it to Vinger, though. At least he doesn't blame people's dislike of him on media misrepresentation. No, he openly believes these things and states them, like I said, out in the open. But when people don't like those thoughts, ideas, and beliefs, he considers it cancellation. Like, no, people can dislike you for your beliefs, especially if these are your beliefs. Like, people can tell.
Yes, people can dislike you for your beliefs. Totally normal. And people also cancel people because they don't agree with your beliefs. And you know this. Don't even try to make this out like it's a leap.
Tell their friends that you believe these things. They can point them to this blog, and then those friends can choose to not like you. You're just a prick. I feel like we're getting a little lost. This rabbit hole keeps on twisting and turning. What is it about these three and their
It's twisting because you keep contradicting yourself. It's not a straight line. It's a twist and a curve and a loop-de-loop because you're going in circles around your own motherfucking logic.
Followers that allows them to believe they aren't what their beliefs so blatantly say they are. I mean, if it quacks like a duck and walks like a duck, I'm honestly not sure of the answer, though. It could be ignorance. In a lot of colonialist countries, these beliefs are so ingrained as you grow up that when they are challenged and you don't really have a clean answer to them, it can lead to anger. It could also be purposeful.
Okay.
These people know what they're doing and are alt-right.
Says the guy who's angry enough to make this whole ass video. Okay.
Folks just trying to infiltrate this
I'm sitting
niche.
here. I'm so exhausted by all this that I'm sitting here like, should I just cut off the stream? I am so done with this man. Ugh. Pundits here in the chat says the leader of the Nazis was a vegetarian. So according to the woke OSR, if you're a vegetarian, you are. I'm. Pundit said, "I'm here because I'm sure Dolly will rock in her commentary." I appreciate that. Thank you. I feel like I'm not rocking right now. I'm like I said, I'm getting worn the fuck out, but I'm gonna make it through this video. I am determined. It is 12:30 in the a.m. I gotta work in like 6 hours, but God help me, I'm gonna make it through this.
Hobby that has grown surprisingly large over the last decade. This is something the alt-right has been known to do. They look for the fringes for recruitment. Or maybe it's because they have plausible deniability. Maybe there's someone in the scene so openly hateful and bigoted that they can compare themselves to and thus differentiate themselves from the real alt-right extremists. They could hypothetically hide behind them like a shield, using this hateful person to deflect criticism of their personal ideologies and beliefs as being ridiculous and unnecessary. Why are you criticizing us? We have real enemies out there, see? And then they point to this hypothetical person. But someone like,
Is that not what you're doing? Am I losing my mind?
that couldn't exist, could they? This is the tabletop role-playing game scene. It would be, I mean, it would be impossible for an open neo-Nazi to be part of it, right? The thought is ridiculous. Listen, you know what I'm doing at this point. Let's just show the title card.
But you don't have to actually be a neo-Nazi. All you have to do is share a thought that a neo-Nazi might have had once, or have the popular opinion deem you to be a neo-Nazi.
Varg Vikernes is Norwegian. He played guitar and created once influential black metal albums under the name Burzum. This happened between 1991 and 1994.
Oh, we're going off on a different tangent. I don't know if I'm ready for this.
In 1993, several churches burned to the ground and Vikernes was found guilty of arson. He claimed to do them for revenge against the Christian desecration of Viking graves, and that all of the burnings were done by just him. In January of 1993, Vikernes and Euronymous, his fellow guitar player, recorded an interview under a
January of 1993. This is when I was born, you guys. That's how far back we're going.
pseudonym where he claimed to have burnt the churches, even the ones he was found not guilty for. He also claimed that he had killed a man in Lillehammer sometime before. He said that the attacks would continue and that he was a devil worshiper, later claiming that this was just a way to drum up publicity for the black metal scene. Others in the scene were angered by this and believed it would have negative consequences for the scene as a whole. Later in 1993, Vikernes and Euronymous started to have disputes. According to statements, it was mostly about money. On August 10th, Euronymous set up a meeting with Vikernes to talk about an
Did we go to a different video somehow? Are we still talking about the same thing? God, let's get past it.
unsigned contract. Sometime before that, or even on that day, Vikernes decided he was going to kill Euronymous. Vikernes left a friend at his apartment with his credit card and ordered him to withdraw some money sometime that night. Meanwhile, along with fellow
This music is so serious. I feel like I've stepped into a whole other video.
musician Blackthorn, Vikernes drove to Euronymous' apartment. It was there that Vikernes stabbed Euronymous 23 times.
Shit.
Twice in the head. He was given the maximum Norwegian.
I like how it's. This isn't a criticism on John, by the way. I've done plenty of that, and will continue to do that. I do find it kind of funny though. He was stabbed 23 times, twice in the head. Separate from those 23 times, did it make him more dead?
Prison sentence of 21 years. Of prison, Vikernes said, "It's much too nice here. It's not hell at all. In this country, prisoners are given a bed, toilet, and shower. It's completely ridiculous. I asked the police to throw me in a real dungeon and also encourage them to use violence."
I'm a baby.
In
I'm
prison,
sorry, I'm a
Vikernes launched the
grown-ass
Norwegian
woman.
Heathen Front, an international neo-Nazi organization that espoused a form of racial supremacy based on neo-paganism. Vikernes launched this front to advocate for National Socialism, anti-Semitism, and eugenics. Despite Vikernes later claiming none of this
You know, I said I was going to make it through this, and I am. But I feel like I'm sitting in history class. What does this have to do with anything?
was true,
Ugh.
others noted and detailed that while in prison, Vikernes was the self-proclaimed leader, and that he underlined his leadership role through the publishing of a book that he wrote, from which the Heathen Front took most of its ideology. After prison, he continued to release music and became a video blogger. YouTube eventually took his channel down in 2019 when it had nearly 250,000 subscribers, citing that it would be more aggressive in removing videos alleging that a group is superior in order to justify discrimination, segregation, or exclusion. In 2013, Vikernes was put on probation in France for anti-Semitic blog posts that have since been taken down. He's disavowed many of his actions and past beliefs several times through his life, always returning to them under a different name. First, it was just part of being in the black metal scene. Then it was just about surviving prison. Then he called it esoteric Nazism. And now it's called odalism. In 2019, he released a tabletop game filled with many of his racist and fascist beliefs. It was covered by the metal publications Metal Sucks and Killscreen. Both of them strived to detail the vile rhetoric and Nazi sentiments that are littered throughout the book, trying to debunk any sort of redemption for Vikernes through this new field he tried to dive into. This line in particular sticks out to me as I reread these articles. And yes, the whole thing is written in papyrus.
You're
Sorry,
not
that's
funny,
just a little
John.
joke to break the tension.
You're not funny.
Varg is a neo-Nazi. Varg is also what people think of when they think of a neo-Nazi. He came up in a time before the internet, though.
Is he? Because I've never heard of him.
And since his imprisonment and release, the alt-right have changed their tactics. Charlottesville is a moment in time that I don't
Is
think
that what that was all about? The alt-right's tactics? I wish I had some tinfoil.
we as Americans can so easily forget.
Can I remind you all that this is about a game? A hobby? This man is treating this like it's about who's running for president. Like it's about world politics. This is about a game. A hobby amongst people who are friends with each other. I don't understand. This is so serious.
And the attempted coup in 2021 is another such attempt to follow in those footsteps. But even with these dramatic displays of white nationalism and white supremacy, the alt-right lacks a central agency of power with leadership. They meet online, they recruit online, and their tactics
This has the same energy as they call themselves anonymous. It's all a conspiracy.
develop lone wolves with no one to take the fall for their extremist actions. Varg is at the end of what YouTuber Non-Compete has called the alt-right pipeline, or the Pewdie pipeline. Non-Compete
Pewdie
described it as
pipeline.
the way seemingly innocuous jokes, racism, the kind of offend capital G gamers as just being quote-unquote gamer words,
Ugh.
are part of a pipeline of violence that begins with the seemingly innocuous and ends with physical violence.
Holy shit.
Each step of the pipeline serves to radicalize a person further, separating them from the left through propaganda
Oh
and the
my
promise
God.
of so many things that eventually pile into an ethnic state. The likes of Wenger, James
Yes. Me. Oh, for the love of fuck. This is crazy.
Desborough and Urbanski distance themselves from such ideas by meeting the low, low bar of not being murderers.
What does that screen cap have to do with what he just said? It's just advertising the stream that we did. How we're talking about gender in TTRPG that he did not watch, by the way. Or actually, no, let me take that back. I think he watched a bit of. He took a little bit of our video after claiming to have not watched it. Anyway, Yeah. Hey guys, we're doing a discussion. We're not murderers. What the fuck?
Yet, if you look on the pipeline,
Ugh.
you can see them. Attitudes and beliefs, cultural microaggressions, and verbal expression. Any defense of them can only amount.
That's the verbal expression, y'all. People just having a conversation because no one's ever done that on the internet before who wasn't a Nazi. Oh no. Charles said, uh-oh, Dolly Pop is the gateway to PewDiePie. Oh no. But is John not a gateway to PewDiePie? He just advertised him. Pundit said this video is actually all about Taylor Lane and the danger Taylor represents to their narrative. And again, I have yet to see this underlying evil that Taylor supposedly has. The not watching thing was because he wanted to make it clear that no one else should be allowed to watch it because that's very dangerous to their narrative. Well, what he said was that he would never dignify it as being worthy of giving attention. You know, because that would be bad. It would be bad to hear, possibly hear, not even definitely hear, to possibly hear things from people he deems bad. So he watched it in Minecraft or something? I don't know. I don't play Minecraft. I don't know how that shit works. But yeah, he watched it. He put it in his own video. He put us in his own fucking video if you go back in this stream. It's almost like he did almost the same thing he was saying is bad. Oh, Lord. Okay. Let me go back in some comments a little bit before we wrap this up. Like I'm already doing. Kiki Buell said, oh no, dude, you're still listening to the start of the video. You need to watch it all. It's also about how Dolly Pop, you, Grim, and Venger are Nazis. Yeah, everybody's a Nazi, though. I'm going to show you here in just a second. This video is almost over. I'm going to scroll down to his comment, assuming he hasn't taken it down. So y'all can observe that. Let's see. Here we go.
Out to, well, at least they aren't as bad as Varg. I don't know about you, but that isn't as good of a defense as they probably want it to be. It's people like them and their platforms that help send new.
Again, I don't even know who Varg is. I mean, I know what he just showed, but I'm not really basing my opinions of things based on what this dude has to say. I have yet to hear anybody that he's mentioned say, well, at least I'm not a murderer. At least I'm not Varg. At least I'm not such and such. Yeah, I have yet to see any of that. And he, as proof of that, he put up a post where it was like, hey, we're going to go do a stream talking about gender in RPGs. Let's see. Yeah, nothing noteworthy there.
New people, young players, and already scared and angry grognards down the pipeline further.
Oh, Lord, have mercy.
The most I could possibly say is that perhaps it's not too late for them. Perhaps even they can get off of Mr. PewDiePie's wild ride.
So this was all about PewDiePie this whole time?
All it takes is empathy and the ability to listen.
Oh!
A person is only as fallible as their capacity to learn how other people see the world.
Wait! What?
Grognards down the pipeline further. The most I could possibly say is that perhaps it's not too late for them.
Perhaps it's not too late.
Even
Okay.
they can get off of Mr. PewDiePie's wild ride. It's not too late. All it takes is empathy and the ability to listen. A person is only as fallible.
All it takes is empathy and the ability to listen. Did you hear that, guys? Did you hear that? It's the first thing he said that I wholeheartedly agree with, yet he won't apply it to himself. Just weird.
As their capacity to learn how other people see the world.
But you can't. But you, sir, you, John, you, and the people who agree with you here, do not have the capacity to understand how others see the world, do not have the capacity to listen. You refuse to listen and you tell people not to listen. You sat up on your fucking high horse telling me I shouldn't have listened, or, well, that I should have listened to the approved people being the ones that agree with you, but that I should not have listened to Pundit or Taylor Lane or whatever, that I shouldn't have had a conversation. Once again, contradicting your own self in your own video. Nice. Cool. Just so we're clear. Have we reached the end?
What started
Fuck, I
as
hope
a simple
so.
interaction in a Reddit threads comment section has led us quite far. It took me a single day to follow this path. The kind of research you'd expect to do on a high school paper. I think it's in that people like Taylor Lane and Dolly Pop become dangerous, become gateways to something more. They keep them.
Y'all, I'm dangerous. Oh, God. Yes. Me. I'm so dangerous. Oh, my God.
Themselves distant enough through ignorance or through purposeful action so that they can try to profit off of or gain traction from these right-wing people who have been bashing their heads against.
I'm not trying to profit. I'm not making money off YouTube. I'm doing this because it's fun. Just because. It's something I do in my free time, dude. I'm not profiting off of anything. I mean, are you profiting off me? You are profiting off me and Pundit and Grim Jim and all these people on your much bigger channel than mine, mind you. You know? Just I'll look at comments again for a second. Let's see. Except we criticize the real Nazis, fascists, and racists, which unfortunately for this dude includes him. I don't know. I can't call him a Nazi, fascist, or racist. I don't know. So, I know that I criticize people who I feel are worthy of criticism. So, which, you know, I would hope would be actual Nazis, but again, for the millionth time, according to this, that's everyone. So, you're enabling alt-rights. For as dangerous as you are, your reach is small. If you were a real threat, you'd have zillions of followers and trillions of Trump bucks. Yes, for as dangerous as I am, where are my Trump bucks? With my fucking what do I have, like 300 subscribers? I'm so dangerous. I've popped my accused of being a white supremacist cherry. You know, I wasn't ready. I didn't consent to this. You're a bad tyrant. I don't want to be a tyrant. Oh, good grief. Okay. Let's finish this circus.
Against the growing leftist population in games for the better part of a decade. New people follow Taylor to talk about games. They watch podcasts thereon to hear what this new creator has to say. Through that, they find Urbanski and are told by Taylor through their continued support and endorsement of Urbanski that Urbanski is okay. They start listening to Urbanski's YouTube video.
So now having conversations is endorsement. I know I said that earlier toward the beginning of this, but it's still so funny to me. Now having conversations, that's what endorsement is. So again, every presidential debate there's ever been, Biden was endorsing Trump, y'all. The interviewer who interviewed Grimm in that interview that you were criticizing, that interviewer was also endorsing Grimm by having a conversation. And that was actually an interview. So that's even more toward endorsement than just having a conversation with people. But go off.
Goes to Urbanski's podcast. Through that, they meet James. They meet Vinger. This isn't a hard line to follow. It happens to us every day on YouTube, TikTok, and Twitter. Social media was designed to show us what...
You went from me, to PewDiePie. That's a long fucking line.
it thinks we're interested in. And the day that listening to a podcast about a game makes your social media think you want to watch Urbanski videos is not a day I hope we see.
Oh no.
Ultimately, Taylor and the others mentioned here are only as dangerous as we let them be. If when a duck quacks, we say, hey, that's a duck, then we can keep new people aware. And new people are coming into this hobby every day and will continue to do so for the foreseeable future. Those of us...
Maybe I want the new people coming in to also see my side. Crazy, right? I know you think my side is so dangerous, but jokes aside, unironically, John, I think your side is the dangerous one. Your side of cutting yourself off from different opinions, of censorship, and of refusing to have conversations with people who disagree with you. And I know you're going to follow that up with like, oh, but Nazis dangerous, but murder dangerous. Yeah, you're the one making those connections. That's not what's actually going on here. If we can't talk to each other, we can't know what's actually bad. It's a very dangerous thing to tell young people to stay in their echo chamber, stay in their circle jerk, and not listen to others. That is unironically a very dangerous thing to teach people. So, you know.
Who are educated, which includes you now, owe it to these folks to be vigilant. We are no different than the kids in that Palo Alto classroom back in the 1960s. We are capable of falling for things that we think are ridiculous or impossible.
Oh, of course. Absolutely. We're not different in that way. Everybody's capable of falling for things that are ridiculous or, you know. I don't want to be mean. I started to say you're following its proof, but like I'm not going to be an asshole. I mean, normally I might be, but I'm kind of too tired to be a dick right now. Yeah.
We are capable of supporting things without wanting or meaning to. Education is only part of this battle. The other part is vigilance. The courage to call these things out, document them, and keep going. Because if there's one thing we can learn from any of these people,
document
is that
them.
They will not just disappear. Varg returned under new blogs in new countries. And
we are
the
Varg
vigilance
now.
of the French government to keep track
Jesus
of him.
Christ.
James Desborough has been canceled before. There have been petitions to remove him from projects, but he's still here. The same can be said for Wenger and Urbanski.
Oh,
Even
no.
Taylor Lane has come back
Free
after their initial
speech.
bannings and callouts. In fact, they've come back twice, allegedly.
So it's bad now that we have freedom of speech, freedom of expression. This guy advocates for the silencing of people with different opinions than him. Shocking. I know. I can't. Let's go.
When this podcast was live, several people recognized Taylor's voice. These people had been friends with an infamous TTRPG Twitter persona known as Black Cat and claimed that Taylor's voice matched. Black Cat is infamous for their outwardly racist beliefs, transphobic leanings, and strange landlord worship. After someone called this out on Twitter, the Black Cat Twitter account was closed. Shortly after, the Black Cat blog shut down. I don't know if this means anything.
Neither do I.
Like I said, these people don't just disappear. They always come back. But I must echo my silver lining from earlier. I hope it's not too late. There are plenty of scenes and communities that can't help but view you folks as dangerous now. That is the consequences of your actions. But I hope your beliefs can change. The progressive viewpoint is one of continued practice. America and its colonial...
You know what? My beliefs can change. And like I said earlier in this stream, if something came up to make me change my views on any of the people mentioned here, my belief can change. I feel like it's your beliefs that can't change because your beliefs can't change when you don't expose yourself to different thoughts. When you stay in your echo bubble, your beliefs can't change because you're not exposed to any new beliefs. If I did the thing that you say is the better thing to do, I would have never watched this video. I would have never heard any of this. I would have never known about your opinion. So, you know, you're over here like, I'm trying to educate people, which is great. That's fine. Educate people on whatever you think is right. I'm not knocking you for that specifically. But if they followed your advice, maybe they wouldn't have even ended up here. So,
colonial neighbors don't teach it to you, especially if you're white. I hope more than anything that you can see that the oppressed and marginalized are not your oppressors. I hope you can
Nobody
see the
said they
part you
were.
play in all of this, and I hope you know it's not too late to turn it in for something new.
The end. Thank God. All right.
That's the end of the video, everyone. I know I'm going to get hate for this one, but
It's not hate. It's just like bafflement. So I wanted to show you this comment. John put on his comment, I'm going to post this due to several comments I've deleted. He's deleting comments. He is deleting other opinions. I'm going to post this due to several comments I've deleted who've claimed that RPG Pundit didn't say that they would march with Nazis. I don't remember John mentioning this in his video, so, okay. I was going to keep them up because even as they tried to say he didn't say that, they posted the quote in which he did say that. His direct quote is, if some Nazi wants to march at my side at a free speech rally, I'm no one to stop him, so long as he doesn't turn said march into a Nazi rally, obviously. There's a lot to unpack there. That is literally saying you don't want to support Nazi marches. You're not in support of the Nazi aspect of this other person, but if another person wants to march by you at a free speech rally, you're not going to stop them. It's not lunch tables, y'all. If somebody's advocating for something that you believe to be right and good, their opinion doesn't cease to count just because they have other opinions that are different than you. I'm not making sense. I'm very tired. The point is, like, okay, so then it goes on to say, to quote Dr. Jens Fowl, if there's a Nazi at the table and 10 other people sitting there talking to him, you've got a table with 11 Nazis, which is the most insane thing I've ever read. I've already gone off about that, so I'm not going to do it again. Y'all can watch earlier in the stream. Again, I'm exhausted, but that's fucking nuts. And that just goes to prove. So a person who listened to a Nazi speak once shouldn't be accepted at a rally for something that has nothing to do with being a Nazi. It just has to do with free speech. Ugh. So you're telling me if someone was advocating for something you believed in, like you disagree with me, right, John? Let's say I was advocating for something that you were passionate about, but I spoke to Venger once, or I spoke to Pundit once, or I spoke to Taylor Lane once. Therefore, you don't want me advocating for the same thing that you believe to be right and good just because I have an opinion, one opinion or two that's different than yours? You know? It's possible to share opinions with people who also have other opinions you don't agree with. Human beings are complex. Let's see. Free speech only works if you stand for free speech you find despicable. I mean, yeah, a lot of rights that are important or things that are important also help the bad people, which is something that an unfortunate amount of people don't seem to understand. So I'm gonna go ahead and close the screen share. Just us now. Hello. I'm gonna read a few comments and then I have got to go to bed, y'all. I've got to work in like 5 hours. So, but yeah, I had to get that video out of my system. Like I said, Grim Jim tweeted it and I saw some of it and I was like, I gotta react to this right now while it's fresh, while it's there. And I'm glad that I did. Because that was a whole roller coaster ride. That was a whole mess. Pundit, Grim, and Venger have more creativity and empathy in the clippings of their little toes than the whole of SJW movement combined. I don't want to say that. I feel like a lot of the SJW people have their heart in the right place. They're just very misguided on how they go about doing it. Let's see. Dolly Pop likes puppies. Liking puppies is now an evil alt-right menace. Yes. You know what else I like? Breathing. Geeky Bugle says, I'm not white. I'm not oppressed nor marginalized. I'm not a victim, and I'm not his shield. Well, there you go. Straight from the mouth of Geeky Bugle. Cal, you have cats? Sorry, buddy. You're a Nazi now. Oh, no, wait, it was dogs. Fuck. Atropia said, isn't PewDiePie just a game streamer? He used to be. He does a lot of stuff now. A lot of stuff that got a lot of people pissed off for like no reason that I can. I mean, yeah, okay, I know the reason, but the same kind of reasons as this guy. Let's see. It's not really about the game. This is social media dot connecting. That's what it feels like. It's not actually about the hobby anymore. We are reaching to connect these dots. Let's see. I appreciate everybody being here, by the way. I hope I wasn't boring. I think I got boring at the end because I'm getting tired. And I keep saying it like a fucking broken record. But if you go to the beginning of, or toward the middle beginning of this stream, I'm just screaming. Which a lot of you seem to like. So there's that to look forward to. I am going to have to record this stream and cut it up probably. But it'd be what it be. Dolly Pop is red-pilled and base now. I mean, if it got to be like that. They don't speak for the oppressed and marginalized. That's the thing I never got. Like, why do you feel like you get to speak for everybody oppressed and marginalized? Not you, pundit, but like people like John. I don't get it. Let's see. If you talk with Dolly Pop, who has been accused of being a Nazi, you now have the Nazi cootie. Okay. Well, I think that's about it for me, guys. I have got to go to bed, but I appreciate you all being here again. Thanks for going on that with me. Yeah, Toby said at least people on our side can laugh and have fun. Yeah, and I'm going out of my way. I'm trying really hard not to just straight up make fun of John. I mean, I'm yelling about what I disagree with him about, but I'm trying not to just straight up mock him. But because I can see, like, okay, if you really believe, as John seems to really believe, that, you know, these people are so bad, and you're extending the branch of, like, you know, it's not too late to be better. It's never too late to be better. That's cool, I guess. Cal says it was torture. Thanks. Red pill chicks are hotter. Oh no, I'm bringing down the value of red pill chicks. No, but what was I saying? God, I'm falling asleep. What was I saying? Shit, I don't remember. So yeah, thanks for being here, everybody. Thanks for following me down that crazy town. And I will be back soon. The next thing I'm planning for my channel is the review of The Gamers, their first movie, which I'm really excited about. I have the footage that I need recorded, but I'll have to wait till this weekend to record my review of it, like myself. And then, of course, it'll probably take me a couple days to edit, but I'm very excited about that. So be on the lookout for it. Probably won't do it. I mean, I might do another stream before then. Maybe if I see something. I wasn't planning this, so you never know. Yeah. So good night, all, or good morning. good day, good afternoon. Bye.